final 5-6 minutes, we obviously got to talk about the huge game on Tuesday night. This will no doubt lead our Wednesday podcast, and that is Gonzaga versus UCLA. Number 1 versus number 2 in Las Vegas. I am not anticipating that Gonzaga will lose to Central Michigan and UCLA will lose to Bellarmine. Those teams play those games on Monday. This is technically a 4-team MTE before Gonzaga versus UCLA happens on Tuesday. I will have a story up later on Monday about the history of number 1 versus number 2. Couple quick facts, and we can get some GP thoughts on this. This is the 43rd all-time meeting, regular season or postseason, between a number 1 versus number 2 team. The poll dates back to the late 1940s. So we actually get 1 versus 2 somewhat frequently in men's college basketball. We were supposed to have one last year. Gonzaga versus Baylor got canceled literally like 2 hours before tip because of a few positives in Gonzaga's program. So we never wound up getting that game. This is Gonzaga. So still, technically, its first game as a number 1 team in a 1 versus 2 matchup. UCLA has not been involved in one of these since the mid-1970s, but this will be the 10th time UCLA plays in a 1 versus 2, which means UCLA will have been involved in a 1-2 game more than any other program in history, breaking a tie at 9 apiece with the Kentucky Wildcats. Credit, obviously, to Few and Mick Cronin for making sure this happens. It is a humongous rematch of one of the best NCAA tournament games in history, with one of the most famous shots in NCAA tournament history and college basketball history, with Suggs, 37-footer, 93-90, win an OT. You know the story. That's phenomenal and awesome, and I love it. Now, the number 2 team is 13-11 in regular season matchups in the history of this 1 versus 2, although the number 1 ranked team leads the overall series, the previous 42 matchups, at a narrow 22-20 margin. What are your thoughts on this game? What are your expectations? We can make a pick for fun. Won't add it to the official tally here, but I just love, bottom line, to harp on a point we made last week, I love the fact that you have coaches unafraid to do this. Gonzaga and UCLA were not scheduled to play each other 6 months ago. Mark Few and Mick Cronin were determined to make it happen. There was a whole bunch of drama behind the scenes with event organizers that I won't bore our listeners with, but there were, basically, put it this way, there were obstacles in place that could have made it extremely easy for Gonzaga and UCLA to say, nah, we're good, thanks. And they worked through a ton to make sure this game happened, when a lot of other coaches, frankly, probably would have bailed immediately. So credit to Cronin and Few for doing this and giving college basketball an awesome, awesome game. By the way, outside of Bahamas, Maui, any other MTE, this is technically an MTE, but it's kind of its own standalone deal, and is the highlight of the week. Gonzaga versus UCLA will be tipping off on Tuesday night, and that is going to be a 10 p.m. Eastern tip on ESPN. Thoughts, GP?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love it. The only thing that would make me love it more is if Gonzaga and UCLA signed a 2-year home and home, and this one was being played at the Kennel, and next year they do it at Pauley Pavilion. College basketball in home arenas / on campus is the best version of college basketball we get. And I don't love that we've gotten so far away from that. And all of these, not all, but lots of these high profile matchups are played in neutral courts, because neutral courts don't always provide the best atmospheres. Now, I'm imagining that, because of the proximity to Vegas for these two schools, it's not hard to get there for either one of these fan bases. I imagine the arena is going to be popping and it's going to be awesome. So I can't wait, but it's such a minor complaint, but I wish these types of things happen on campus. Because of the environment it creates, because no matter what that arena is like in Vegas, it's not going to be like the Kennel would be, and not going to be like Pauley would be under these circumstances. I prefer on-campus stuff, and I also think it's a nice reward for your season ticket holders who are paying incredible amounts of money, donations for the rights to buy great seats, and then you take high-profile games and you put them, somewhere other than your home arena. It's a flaw with the sport, a small one perhaps, but still one that I wish we could get away from a little bit. And I think maybe it was Kevin Willard at Seton Hall. Some coach made this point.
It was Willard. Yes.
Yeah, that we need to start doing more of these on campuses. Let's you come to my place, I'll come to your place, the way we used to do it. Basketball at this level is a big business, and so financial, um, uh, the money plays a role in these decisions often. But still,
Yes.
I'd rather see these games played in home arenas.
Yeah, to that exact point here. So, event organizer is putting this on, and these teams, I don't know if this ever got reported, and I think they're getting like 500K a piece, which is a significant amount of money.
Right.
So that goes into it as well. And yeah, there's contracts and all that stuff. I won't bore everyone. All right, as we wrap, let's just pick it for fun. I know you're going to take Gonzaga. You got them ranked higher than UCLA. I too will take Gonzaga in this game, but I'm not convinced Gonzaga is going to get out of this week without a scratch because it's got Duke later in the week. We'll obviously talk about that as well in the next podcast. So give me Gonzaga. Ah, man. I think I really, really hope this is a game that lives up to the hype, but give me Gonzaga along the lines of 78, 75. I think this will be fun, pretty close. Coincidentally enough, didn't do this intentionally, but they beat them by 3 last time these teams met. I'll have them winning by 3 again when they beat the Bruins. How about you?
Yeah, Gonzaga 84, UCLA 80, something like that. Hopefully they can play this game in the 80s, and Juzang shows out, Drew Timme shows out, Jaime Jaquez, Chet Holmgren. You got some real high level, future NBA guys in this game, and hopefully, like you said, it lives up to expectations.